to the league, man. Last night there was a little bit of rumbling. The T-Wolves and Pistons squabbled up. Ron Hollins, 19-year-old, one of the youngest players in the league. I didn't really think, to be honest with you, it was too much of a foul. Like, it was a basic slap your arm foul, but Naz Reid took offense to it, and then DiVincenzo stepped in the middle of it, and the boys got scuffling. Isaiah Stewart started drooling and grabbing and wanted to squeeze the life out of a motherfucker, but I think that was the closest thing we've seen to a real skirmish.
And who would have thought this little ass foul would have turned into a Royal Rumble match? We gotta run the playback because I don't even think Ron Holland fouled him that hard. Naz Reid must have got into it with his shorty before the game or something because he was pissed the fuck off. No bullshit, that's how my mama used to point at me before she was about to whoop my ass. Bro, where the fuck White Dante come from? Dante DiVincenzo wanted all the smoke. You would have thought Ron Holland said something about that boy and mama. Real talk, White Dante been waiting to fight a motherfucker since he got traded from the Knicks. We gonna flip the angle though, cause this where shit get unchy. White Dante really hit this man with the G-point mush combo. There you go, that's who I was waiting for. Isaiah Stewart, that big motherfucker that showed up to that LA Fitness runs just to fight. At this point, Dante done put down Ron Holland, now he 2-on-1. I ain't gonna cap, Pat Bev was right though. Nobody on the Timberwolves got any kind of fucking heart. And they don't call that boy Beef Stew for no reason. Y'all see Isaiah Stewart tensed up biting his lip. Bro grabbed a handful of meat. He been watching too many prison movies, he need to chill out. Shit was looking like that Friday scene with Damon and Money Mike. I can't tell if Ron Holland is hurt, angry, or embarrassed, but he is crying real tears. 5 players and both head coaches was ejected, and it was only the second quarter. And the thing, all this shit started with that baby ass foul. Man, I love the NBA.
What was your thoughts on that, KD?
Well, I love it. I love when it's when tempers flare a little bit. You know, I went to the Heat game the other night, man, and it's just no contact, right? It's no like physicality. It's everybody pick and roll, shooting threes, you know, freedom of movement. But I like when they knuckle up, squabble up a little bit. I'm glad it didn't really spill too far over into the crowd. I'm glad no punches were thrown. But just to see them have a little pulse and have a little anger, a little fire, I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. JR, that's obviously your former team in the Minnesota Timberwolves. You played in the era where dudes was scrapping. Any confrontations come to mind from your career that you could recall?
Without a doubt. First with that one, I was watching it, so it was getting a little chippy in that game, and they were letting them get physical. So yeah, I agree. It was just a regular slap across the arm foul, like nothing major at all. But I think what was going on was some prior stuff, and some tempers were flaring a little prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
So they started grabbing jerseys. Pulling up around the neck, around the ear area, and it spilled over. Bodies started coming. People started tumbling down. It was getting physical underneath. I want to see what was going on with Nas and Holland down low, because they were kind of
down low. Yeah.
Yeah. So up top, I couldn't see down low, but up top, I seen they pushed DiVincenzo to like the second row. It looked like, so. It was on, but I'm glad they didn't throw any punches. So I had to run it back 3, 4, 5 times just to see what was going on. And something like that, usually it's somebody getting fired on. You know what I mean? Somebody would throw some punches, but I think they were mindful about ejections and suspensions and stuff like that, and got it under control. I was laughing at Rudy, long ass arm reached from out of nowhere trying to grab somebody from behind the neck. To me right there. But it was on, man.
He still got PTSD from Draymond still.
Yeah. You got Stewart looking like old school Michael Cage with them damn shoulders. And Michael Cage used to have a curl. Stewart got the dread.
Hell yeah.
They got shoulders. So Stewart with all the smoke, man. You know what I mean? So I kind of like
for
that.
Real.
He could have played in every era for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, he's always into some shit.
They made him bleed his own blood. He ain't been right ever since. Like he ready.
Hey, that's when he wanted to bite LeBron's head off. That motherfucker was charging through a whole team when that happened. Do any fights during your era come to mind? Whether you were in them or you witnessed where they were throwing them?
That was something like me and Walt Williams. We snatched up Pat Garrity and somebody else, and I think it was Barry. Barry was on the ground. I need him in the head on the ground because he was talking in the paper the week before. You know what I mean? So he went down, I need him in the head. I got a UFC need him right in his temple. You know what I mean? Nah, man. We used to have real fights, and it was real grown ass men. That I know. I remember playing against the Knicks. where they had Mason, Oakley, Ewing, Bonner. And I'm going to the rack. I dunked on somebody, and they told me, yeah, next time you go in the rack, you're going to end up on your back. So I went right to the rack, and they knocked me down. And I just remember saying, next motherfucker foul me, it's on in this motherfucker, da-da-da-da-da. And Oakley said, shut the fuck up and shoot your motherfucking free throws. I said, God damn.
Did you?
Grown-ass men with hair on their chest, so you better pick your battles. I remember putting big pins at the end of both goals because there was some grown-ass men. So just throwing them, just chunking them with them, yeah, they was 6'7", 6'8", known for fighting. But nah, man, I mean, it was a few scraps in my era where they, the big boys would clear shit out. You know what I mean? They would clear it out for sure.
My question, did you shut the fuck up and shoot your free throws, or you keep talking?
Well, I mumbled some shit.
He said, well. I said I mumbled some shit. Oh, man.
But my mid-range was in full effect after that because they wasn't playing, man. They wasn't playing back in them days coming to the rack. You couldn't be scared. You still had to do your shit. But I had to let them know I had mid-range. Y'all ain't just going to beat me up. But I mumbled some shit to Oakland. Oakland was known for slapping people.
Yeah.
Slapping the shit out of people with them big-ass cement hands.
Not only would you fight on the court, but those guys would pull up to the locker room. Those guys would remember that last encounter and check you when you saw them. And so you had to conduct yourself in a way because it was accountability to the 10th power back in them days.
Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't no sliding. They catch you at the bus.
Albert Robinson pulled up the Strickland house back in the day. I mean, I don't want to go too deep, but it was a lot of stories I would hear where dudes they pull up. They talking about pull up these days. They pull up to your house, wait on you, like let's get it in. Fuck them cameras, man.
Right. No cameras. We don't need no cameras for this smoke.